Hello world, I'm AK. Welcome to the fourth video for Intro to Java. In this video, I will demonstrate the for and while loop, as well as nesting loops within another loop. Let's begin by opening up Java. The while loop. While this condition is true, the code statement inside the body will run. After all the statement in the body finishes, the condition will be reevaluated again. If it remains true, the statement inside the body will continue to repeat. The program will never continue after the while loop until the condition is false. I'm going to declare an integer data type and initialize it to 0. This integer will be my counting index for the loop. The condition will be checked to see if it's true. Since x is equal to 0, it is less than or equal to 3. The Boolean condition is true, and the statement within the body will run. The program will print out loop x number. The index is incremented at the end of the loop in order for the condition to eventually return false. If this was not there, the condition will always be true. X will always be 0 and always be less than or equal to 3, and the loop will continuously repeat. This is called an infinite loop. X will eventually increment to 4, which will no longer be less than or equal to 3, and the loop will eventually end, as you can see down here. The for loop. The for loop is identical to the while loop, except for the initial structure. The initialization step is placed before the condition, and the increment step is placed after the condition. The word while is replaced with for. The for loop has a much better structure if the Boolean condition has an increasing or decreasing variable, usually an index. But the while loop is better to use if the loop doesn't depend on a calculated or precise variable. The first thing this for loop does is initializes the variable. An integer will be declared called x and initialized to 0. The condition will be checked. The statement in the body will run if the condition is true. Once all the statement in the body is finished, the variable will be updated. X will eventually increase to the value of 4 and the loop will end. The nested loop. Nested loop is a loop within a loop. This for code has an incrementing x variable. If I add another loop in this loop, it adds a whole new dimension. Any variable name can be used, but I will stick to x and y for simplicity and ease of understanding. Since the second loop is in the body of the first loop, the second loop has to run until the condition is false before the first loop's condition is reevaluated. First, x is initialized to 0. So while 0 is less than or equal to 3, the statement will run. It will print out loop x is equal to 0. Then it will go down to the second loop and declare a new variable called y and initialize it to 0. And while 0 is less than or equal to 3, it will print out y equals 0. Then it will add 1 to y and re-evaluate the condition for the second loop. Since 1 is still less than or equal to 3, the second loop will run. The second loop will repeat until the condition returns false. And when the second loop returns false, it will add 1 to x, then re-evaluate the first condition. Since 1 is less than or equal to 3, it will repeat the statements in this first loop. It will print out x is equal to 1 and repeat the whole second loop again. This will continue on until the first loop's condition is also false. And only then will it reach the end of the nested loop. As we can see down here, when x is equal to 0, the while loop continues in its entirety. Then x is assigned to 1 and while loop continues again in its entirety. The nested loop only stops once x is equal to 4. Thanks again for watching. Please leave a comment and I'll definitely reply. Goodbye, world.